Good day everyone, I am Ronalyn S. Mangawang, a BIALS 2A, and for today I am going to discuss the Module 5, which is the reference. What is reference? Reference is a concept in semantics that is easily understood. Reference is a simple idea. However, it can be also a source of confusion. Confusion or perplexity, inability to deal with or understand something complicated or unaccountable. The confusion is usually arises from the knowledge on their nature. One may grapple with their meanings in certain contexts. Reference and referring expressions. A referring expression is not a referent. That's why these two are not identical. For example, referring expression is cat. The referent of cat is physical object. There is no natural connection between a referring expression and a referent. The existence of referring expression does not guarantee the existence of the referent in the physical social world that we inhabit. Two or more referring expressions may be identify the same individual, but they do not mean the same. Referring expression is Robert Blair, the husband of Mildred Stone Blair, the father of Patrick and Robin Blair, the city editor of Morgantown Daily Inquirer, etc. And referent is physical object. A referring expression is used to identify, but the identification may be valid only temporarily and it need to be true. Extension and intension. The extension of a lexeme is a set of entities which is denotes changeable. Example, lexeme is dog. The extension of dog is collies, Dalmatians, mongrels, and etc. The intension of a lexeme is a set of properties shared by all members of the extension. For example, lexeme. Everything that is denoted by the word lake must be have the intension of body of water of a certain size surrounded by land. A prototype is an object or referent that is considered typical of the whole set, and people have the same prototype for a particular group. There are different kinds of reference. A. Unique and non-unique reference. Example of unique is we swam in Lake Ontario. Non-unique is we swam in a lake. Letter B. Concrete and abstract reference. Lexemes such as dog, door, leaf, stone denote concrete reference, which can be seen or touched and counted. For example, the key to the front door, a bright light. Key and bright have literal meanings. The objects denoted by lexemes like problem, reason, knowledge are abstract referent. For examples, the key to success, a bright future. Key and bright have figurative meanings. Letter C. Countable and non-countable reference. Both countable and non-countable reference may be concrete or abstract. Concrete countable expressions refer to the items that are separate from one another, which can ordinarily counted one by one. Abstract countable phrases have such nouns as idea, problem, and suggestion. Non-countable phrases, if their references are concrete, have three kinds of reference. Continuous substances, which do not consist of natural discrete parts, like applesauce, ink, and toothpaste. Substances that consist of numerous particles not worthy counting. For examples, sand, rice, and hair. Collections whose parts have quite different names, like furniture, jewelry, and luggage. Abstract non-countable which are treated in English as indivisible. For example, advice, beauty, and information. Different ways of referring. There are three kinds of referring expressions. The first one is proper names. Proper names have unique reference. For example, Lake Ontario, the Beetle, or the Eiffel Tower. The second one is pronouns. Pronouns such as she, he, they, and it. Example, they were off school last week. And the last one is noun phrases. Noun phrases that have nouns with variable reference as the head, preceded by a determiner and possible followed by one or more complements. Some determiners, qualifiers express the amount or quantity of the entity denoted by a noun. Letter A, generic and non-generic reference. Generic reference is general. For example, a dog makes a fine pet. Non-generic reference is specific. For example, a dog is lying in the middle of the street. Letter B, specific and non-specific reference. Specific reference means referring to a particular item or previously mentioned noun. For example, we have a dog. Non-specific reference means referring to any one of many possible items or the introducing a noun for the first time in the text. For example, we'd like to have a dog. Letter C, definite and indefinite reference. The definite determiner the occurs in the referring expression when the speaker assumes that the hearer can identify the referent or when identification is made part of the referring expression. For example, I've got the tickets. When the referring expression is definite, the speaker assumes that the referent can be identified by the addressee for one of four reasons. The indefinite determiners some and zero indicate that the referent is part of a larger entity. For example, I buy a ticket. When the referring expression is indefinite, the hearer has to make a choice from the extensions of a noun that is to decide which of all possible referents what part of the extension is intended. What is deicsis? Deicsis refers to words and phrases that cannot be fully understood without additional context information. Deictic words point to things in the physical social context of the speaker and addressee. Number 1. Person deicsis localizes an entity in relation to the position of the speaker and or hearer. Person deicsis is an expression used to point to a person like me, you, him, and then. First and second person pronouns typically refer to the speaking and hearing speech participants, whereas third person pronouns designate the non-speech or narrated participant. Third person pronouns may be used deictically or anaphorically. An anaphoric use of a deictic expression occurs when reference is being made to another entity that was introduced earlier in the text or speech. Number 2, spatial deicsis. Localize both the speech participants and the narrated participants in space. More frequent words are this, that, and this and those. Number 3 is temporal deicsis. Is another category of deictic expressions. Temporal deicsis words used to point a time, now, then, tonight, last week, and last year. What is anaphora? Anaphora is a kind of secondary reference in which a previous reference is recalled by use of special function words or equivalent lexemes. For example, Jack and Hill tried to lift the box and push it onto the top shelf. The word it in the sentence has a special function of words which repeat a reference, the box without actually repeating the referring expression or any part of it. The difference between deicsis and anaphora. Anaphora is an expression that refers to something mentioned earlier in the context. Deicsis is an expression that is used to refer the words and phrases that cannot be fully understood without additional contextual information. Referential ambiguity. An indefinite referring expression may be specific or not. For example, I wanted to buy a newspaper. Here, the newspaper may refer to a specific newspaper or some newspaper or any newspaper. Anaphora is unclear because a personal pronoun he, she, it, or they can be linked to either of two referring expressions. For example, Jack told Ralph that a visitor was waiting for him. The pronoun you is used to generically or specifically. For example, if you want to get ahead, you have to work hard. A noun phrase with every can have a distributed reference or collected reference. For example, I'm buying a drink for everybody here.